Get your ears wrapped around the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast. All the scoop you need to know from college basketball to the NBA and even March Madness. News of your rising stars. Topics on and off the hardwood. This is the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast.
And welcome to the GSMC Basketball Podcast. This episode is brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network, and I am your host, Jesse Tapia. Alright, so it's March 21st, Wednesday. Here's how the show is going to go down. For this segment, we're going to just focus on two games. Alright, the Thunder and Celtics game and the Rockets and Trailblazers game. Those will be the only two games we're talking about in this first segment. Second segment, we'll be talking about the rest of the games from Tuesday. All right, third segment, we're going to be talking about the little playoff race going on in the Western Conference. All right, talking about not so much like the Rockets or Warriors or anything like that because that's done, but pretty much so like the 4 through 8 seeds right there because that's all interchangeable. Don't really need to talk about the Blazers too much because I still think they're going to finish as a 3 seed, so we'll do that for the third segment. Fourth segment, talk about whatever else is going on in basketball, anything that crosses my mind, whether it be, I don't know, anything. It could be anything. So we'll be doing that for the fourth segment and making my picks for tonight's games. So that's how today's show is going to go. All right, so let's get into it. First up, let's start off with the Oklahoma City Thunder facing off with the Boston Celtics. This game took place in Boston, and the Celtics won this one 100-99. All right, for the Thunder, you had Carmelo Anthony with 13 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, shot 5 of 13 from the field, 2 of 6 from the three-point line. Corey Brewer had 11 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, shot 4 of 12, 1 of 6 from the three-point line. Paul George, he had 24 points, 13 rebounds, only 1 assist, shot 9 of 19, 5 of 8 from the three-point line. Steven Adams had 14 points, 7 rebounds, shot 4 of 7. And then you had Russell Westbrook with 27 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists, shot 9 of 21, 2 of 5 from the three-point line. For the Celtics, you had Al Horford, who's been struggling big time since the All-Star break. Had 5 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists, shot 2 of 9, 1 of 4 from the three-point line. Marcus Morris had 21 points, 4 rebounds, shot 8 of 13, 3 of 6 from the three-point line. Jason Tatum, 23 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists, shot 8 of 12, 3 of 6 from the three-point line. And then you had Terry Rozier with 14 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, shot 5 of 15, 3 of 9 from the three-point line. Then off the bench, you had Greg Monroe with the good game here, 17 points, 6 rebounds, shot 6 of 12. And then Shane Larkin with 13 points, 4 rebounds, shot 5 of 9, 2 of 4 from the three-point line. All right, this was a real bad loss for the Thunder here. This is one game that they should have picked up and won easily. All right, when you're a team in the West, when you got Carmelo Anthony, Paul George, and Russell Westbrook, you should be beating teams that are without Kyrie Irving, Marcus Smart, and Jaylen Brown. All right, it's just simple. If you want to be a team that's taken seriously, you got to win these games. All right, it all comes down to pretty much they just weren't playing hard enough. All right, the Celtics, you could literally tell that the Celtics wanted this game more. All right. Thunder were leading for most of the fourth quarter. All right, and they were up like 5 points with like 20 seconds left, I believe. I was watching this game. I changed the channel because I figured, it's over. Let's see what else is on TV. All right, I go back to check to see if the Trailblazers and Rockets game started. I'm seeing that the Celtics are celebrating because they won, and I'm like, how in the world did this even happen? They were literally down 5 points, 6 or 5 points with 20 seconds left. All right, turns out Russell Westbrook, I think it was, and Carmelo Anthony, they can't hit their free throws. All right, Carmelo Anthony has a chance to put the Thunder up by 3 points towards the end of the game. Misses that free throw. Celtics take it down. They inbound it from their side of from the Thunder side of the court, or wherever the Celtics were shooting, whatever you want to call that. All right, Jason Tatum gets in, drives in, loses the ball a little bit, ends up dishing it out to Marcus Morris. He pump fakes, moves to the side, dribbles to the side once, hits the shot, boom, 3, game winner, game over. All right, the Thunder should have never lost this game at all. All right, this was just ridiculous for them to lose. All right, and I understand that the Celtics are a well-coached team, and they do have good players, but if you're the Thunder and you want to be taken seriously, you got to win these games, and, I mean, I just don't get how you lose this game. But either way, I mean, this is pretty much, like, Carmelo Anthony is, for me, the most overrated player in the NBA. All right, and I could be a little harsh because Carmelo Anthony was a great scorer at one point. For most of his career, was a great scorer. Has one scoring title, made a bunch of All-Star games, made some All-Pro teams. All right, but the fact of the matter is, people used to talk about him like he was on that level of like the Kobe's, LeBrons, and all that. He was never on that level at all. All right, Carmelo Anthony was always good, but he was never that great. All right, Carmelo Anthony is a guy who has had a pretty good NBA career, but has nothing to show for it other than some individual achievements. Okay? And people will say, well, he never had help. Carmelo Anthony, we need to realize that Carmelo Anthony isn't the guy you build a team around. He's not. All right? Because they brought in Stoudemire, all those guys when he was with the Knicks. With the Nuggets, he had guys like a young J.R. Smith, had Allen Iverson coming in. Marcus Camby was still playing pretty well at that time. All right? The Nuggets had a pretty decent team. Wasn't a team, like I'm saying, should have gone out and won the championship. But, I mean, Melo's never really made it past the second round, I don't think. All right? Melo's never been that player to, kind of like a Kobe, okay? Towards the last few parts of his, like the last two championships he won, those teams weren't great, but they had ability, and Kobe helped make them better. All right, and again, I always say it's not a player's job to make other players around him better, and it's not. But if you want to be regarded as a player, a top player in the league and all that, then you kind of have to. That's just what it comes with. All right, that's why DeMarcus Cousins is my favorite player in the league. That's why he's not regarded as a top 5 player, because he didn't make anyone around him better. All right, Carmelo Anthony is not that guy, like I said, you build a team around. Carmelo Anthony is like that piece you add. All right, you add him to the team. He's not the team, you just add him to the team. You already got your star player there, so you bring in a guy like Melo to help out. All right, and that's why the teams that they tried building around Melo never succeeded. They didn't realize that. I don't think anyone has ever realized that Melo's just not that guy that you build around. All right, he's not a Kobe, he's not a LeBron, not an Anthony Davis, not a Giannis. He's none of those guys. All right? He's a Paul George. Even then, so Paul George, you could, at one point in time, you could build a team around him. All right? Let's see. What else could we compare him to? A Blake Griffin, possibly? All right? You can't really build a team around Blake Griffin, I don't think. All right? There's a whole, he's just in that little category. And it's not a bad thing, but it's just a matter of he's not like a top player by any means. All right? At one point, yeah, he was a great scorer, but, I mean, cool. Great. How many conference finals did that get you to? How many championships did that get you to? 0. All right? So, Melo, I mean, great player at one point, but just really overrated to me, I feel. And as for the Celtics, I mean, I kind of like seeing Jason Tatum play without Kyrie Irving and all those other guys, because Jason Tatum pretty much takes up more of a I got to do more type role. All right? And I'm not saying that the Celtics need to trade Kyrie or anything like that. I mean, I do have this little theory. Maybe they should sit him down for the rest of the year, even through playoffs, because of the fact that he's been dealing with his knee injury all season long. All right, the games that he's missed has been because of that knee soreness, and it's pretty much a matter of I think he's going to have to get surgery in the offseason, so I say just rest him up, get the surgery sooner rather than later. And, I mean, no one's expecting him to go out and win anything this season. All right, no one expected that once Gordon Hayward went down. The way they're playing the season is pretty incredible. The fact that they're up here so high. All right. I mean, Brad Stevens got pretty much an entire new team besides Terry Rozier, Marcus Smart, Al Horford, who's been there, Jaylen Brown. Everyone else is pretty new. Actually, everyone else is new. All right. So they retained about 3 players, whatever many I just named. All right. And they're out here finishing second in the East. At one point was the best team in the East. But now, because of injuries, they're starting to go down a bit. All right. I mean, like I say, you might want to just shut down Kyrie and say, you know what? There's always next year. Have Kyrie and Gordon Hayward come back together, and it's ready to go. But either way, like I said, Celtics won this one 199. Bad loss by the Thunder. More of a bad loss by them than a good one for the Celtics. And if you're the Celtics, this is a big win for you too, because of the fact that you're starting, like, players start to believe themselves. They're pulling out games like this. So either way, I mean, Thunder got to win this one, but they did it. All right, let's move on to the second game of the segment, the Rockets versus the Trailblazers. All right, Rockets won this one 115-111. This game was in Portland. For the Rockets, you had Trevor Ariza with 6 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, shot 2 of 7, 1 of 3 from the 3-point line. PJ Tucker only took 2 shots. Both of them were from the three-point line. Hit one of them. 3 points, 3 rebounds. Clint Capella only played 24 minutes. Took 3 shots. Hit 2 of them. Scored 5 points, 6 rebounds. Chris Paul had 22 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists. Shot 6 of 16. 5 of 10 from the three-point line. James Harden had 42 points, 7 assists, 6 rebounds. Shot 13 of 25. 5 of 7 from the three-point line. And then off the bench, you had Luke Mbah-a-Moute with 13 points, 4 rebounds, shot 5 of 7, 2 of 2 from the three-point line. Eric Gordon had 18 points, 4 rebounds, shot 7 of 14, 3 of 8 from the three-point line. Gerald Green played 11 minutes in this one, only had 3 points. And then Joe Johnson played 15 minutes, only took 1 shot, didn't hit it, 0 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist. For the Trailblazers, you had Al-Farouq Aminu with 22 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, shot 7 of 11, 6 of 8 from the three-point line. Mo Harkless had 17 points, 5 of 5 shooting, 3 of 3 from the three-point line. Joseph Nurkic had 21 points, 11 rebounds, 3 assists, shot 9 of 10. And then you had Damian Lillard with the poor shooting night, 5 of 17 from the field, 0 of 7 from the three-point line, 4 rebounds, 6 assists, 20 points. CJ McCollum also didn't shoot the ball well at all, 4 of 15, 0 of 5 from the three-point line, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, 8 points. And then off the bench, you had Evan Turner with 10 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, shot 5 of 10, and 0 of 1 from the three-point line. All right. James Harden pretty much locked up that MVP award. It's not close. There's no one who's really going to catch up to him. All right. At one point, a couple weeks ago, I did say that Anthony Davis, if he had the Pelicans finishing in third, could very well take the award from Harden, but it's not going to happen. Harden's finally going to win the MVP this year, and it's not close. All right. Curry's hurt. Durant's hurt. They're not going to finish first. That's all done with. LeBron, unless he somehow gets the Cavs to number 1 and pretty much elevates what he's already doing, that's the only way he wins it. So, I mean, there's really no one to fight against James Harden for his MVP award. I mean, Russell Westbrook's averaging near a triple-double again. I mean, he's only 0.3 rebounds away from averaging a triple-double. And no one's really talking about it. That's kind of weird, too. All right? I mean, Russell Westbrook last year, him averaging a triple-double was the story of the year. And you know what? I'm starting to realize that was only the story of the year because of the fact that he's doing it without Kevin Durant in this first season without him. All right, the media was so in love with that whole Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook story. It was just annoying, let me tell you. All right, Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, every single game. Are you guys friends? Have you guys talked? It's like a gossip channel. All right, that's literally what last season was for them. It was ridiculous. But anyway, like I said, yeah, James Harden not losing this MVP award, finally gonna win it. All right, probably should have won it that second year Curry won it, unless that was whatever year Curry won the MVP award and he wasn't unanimous MVP. James Harden should have won it that year. All right? And if Russell Westbrook averages 2 assists less or 2 rebounds less, James Harden wins it. All right? I mean, the dude has gotten the short end of the stick quite a bunch in his career, but he's finally going to get the MVP award this year. All right? But getting back to the game, I mean, James Harden dropped 42 on the Trailblazers, who have been playing pretty good defense as of late. Last couple of weeks. That's been one of the biggest reasons why they've been on this winning streak now that it's over. But, I mean, they were playing great defense. All right, that's one of the things that were keeping them up. So, I mean, then for James Harden to go out and score 42. And James Harden's always had great success against Portland, too. I saw that, too. They're one of the teams that he averages the most points per game against. But, I mean, going over to the Portland side, I mean, it's got to be kind of frustrating to see that you're only 4 points away from pretty much tying it up and all that. Damian Lillard didn't play well. CJ McCollum didn't play well. And a guy like Al-Farouq Aminu, Mo Harkless, it's got to be kind of frustrating to see you showed up for this big game, but your top players didn't. And I'm not trying to start any controversy or anything like that. Just making observations. And as far as Portland goes, I said on Tuesday's GSMC Sports podcast that this would be like a measuring stick game from them. They're just not on the level of the Rockets or Warriors yet. All right. Damian Lillard, I mean, 5 of 17 from the field. CJ McCollum, 4 of 15. I mean, you guys got to step up in big games like this. All right. They hit a couple shots more. Both of them, they win this game. Sure enough, they didn't, so I guess you can't really talk too much about it. All right. But either way, getting back into it, they are the 3rd best team in the West and probably the 4th, 5th best team in the NBA. Just a matter of who you think is better between them and Boston, I guess you could say. All right, right now, I guess Portland hasn't played the better basketball, so I'd say Portland's over them right now. I'd say it goes the Rockets, the Raptors, the Warriors, the Trailblazers, and then the Celtics right there. All right? But either way, with the Portland Trailblazers, I mean, they're probably going to end up making it out the first round this year, finally. They've been kind of like the Atlanta Hawks, kind of like those Al Horford, Jeff Teague teams where they were very good, but just really didn't do much in the playoffs. That's what they've been, the Trailblazers have been, but I think this year's going to be a little bit different. They're probably going to get an opportunity to lose to the Rockets or Warriors. I think it'll be the Warriors they'll get an opportunity to lose to in the second round, so we'll see about that. But either way, I do like the way Portland's been playing this season, and it's kind of interesting. Actually, you know what? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about right now. All right, LeBron. He's been talking about Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard's been talking about him. Don't be surprised if LeBron schedules a visit with the Portland Trailblazers in the free agency. All right, that would work. That would be a good team with Lillard, McCollum, LeBron, Harkless, and Nurkic. All right, you could have Aminu coming off the bench or Harkless coming off the bench for that matter. That'd be a pretty nice team. They already have a nice little bench there. Obviously, you're going to add some pieces in the free agency to pretty much bolster the bench. LeBron to Portland sounds pretty nice, but that's all I got to say about that. Next up, we're going to be talking about the rest of the NBA games that were played on Tuesday, so stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Are you looking for the very best NFL and college football podcast? Then check out the GSMC Football Podcast. Get the latest football news both on and off the field. From the NFL Draft to trades to the rumor mill to the NFL Combines, they got you covered. That's GSMCpodcast.com/football-podcast. Get updates on college rivalries, game day insights, and much, much more. It's football talk the way you want it. This show eats, sleeps, and breathes football. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
All right, and welcome back to the GSMC Basketball Podcast. We spent that first segment talking about the Oklahoma City Thunder Boston Celtics game and the Houston Rockets and Portland Trailblazers game. Drew a blank right there. But either way, that's what the first segment consisted of. Now we're going to talk about the other teams who played yesterday, which was Tuesday. So let's get right into it. First up, we had the Toronto Raptors facing off with the Orlando Magic, and Toronto won this one 93-86. No DeMar DeRozan in here, and this one was out with a left thigh contusion. But either way, Kyle Lowry stepped up. He had 25 points, 8 assists, 5 rebounds, shot 9 of 17, 7 of 13 from the field. Serge Ibaka had a 13 points, 6 rebounds, shot 5 of 11, 2 of 4 from the three-point line. Jonas Valanciunas had 9 points, 8 rebounds, shot 4 of 8, 0 of 2 from the three-point line. Norman Powell had 10 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, shot 4 of 7, 2 of 4 from the three-point line. Darrell Wright had 10 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, shot 3 of 6. All right. For the Magic, you had Aaron Gordon with 16 points, 6 rebounds, shot 7 of 15, 2 of 8 from the three-point line. Jonathan Isaac had 10 points, 5 rebounds, shot 4 of 7 from the field, 2 of 2 from the three-point line. Nikolai Vucevic had 15 points, 9 rebounds, shot 7 of 19, 1 of 2 from the three-point line. DJ Augustine had 9 points, 10 assists, shot 4 of 9, 1 of 4 from the three-point line. Aaron Aflalo, I've not seen his name with the Magic really much this season, but he got the start in this one. Played 23 minutes, shot 1 of 4, 1 rebound, 1 assist, had 2 points. And then off the bench, you had Hazonia with only 8 points, 4 rebounds, shot 4 of 12, 0 of 2 from the three-point line. Bismack Biyombo had 6 points, 8 rebounds, shot 2 of 4 in 16 minutes played. And then you had Shelvin Mack with 17 points, 4 assists, shot 7 of 16, 3 of 6 from the three-point line. I mean, nothing to say much about this game here. All right, Raptors without DeMar DeRozan, nice little win for them. All right, but it's a win they still should have had either way. All right, and as for the Magic, I mean, they're just a bad team. Really looking forward to, they're looking forward to the draft, and they're just trying to get a higher lottery spot than they have right now. So that's why they're trying to lose. But either way, with Portland, I mean, or not Portland, Toronto. I don't know what to say about Toronto right now. All right, you got people saying Toronto's not a team that we can talk about like how they've been the last few years, getting bounced in the playoffs. I don't think we could really, we're not supposed to, like, you can't do that yet. All right? We can't say that Toronto isn't the same playoff team because we got to see how they play in the playoffs. Kyle Lowry goes in the playoffs and has a mental breakdown again, or just doesn't play well at all. I mean, that's it. Same old Toronto team. All right? But as far as it all goes, yeah, Toronto looks nice, but we got to wait and see how they do in the playoffs. But as for the next game, we had the LA Clippers facing off with the Minnesota Timberwolves, and the Timberwolves won this one 123-109. For the Clippers, you had Tobias Harris with 10 points, 6 rebounds, shot 5 of 16, 0 of 5 from the three-point line. DeAndre Jordan, he had 18 points, 12 rebounds, shot 9 of 11. Milos Teodosic had 10 points, shot 3 of 8, 2 of 5 from the three-point line. Austin Rivers had 11 points, only 1 rebound, 1 assist, shot 4 of 14, 2 of 5 from the three-point line. Montrezl Harrell had 9 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, shot 3 of 9. Sam Decker had 6 points in this one, shot 3 of 5 from the field. Lou Williams had 15 points, 5 assists, 4 of 11 shooting, no threes hit in this one. And then you had Sean Kilpatrick with 15 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, shot 5 of 10, 3 of 6 from the three-point line. For the Timberwolves, you had Taj Gibson with 15 points, 8 rebounds, shot 6 of 8 from the field. Andrew Wiggins had 27 points, 3 rebounds, shot 9 of 16, 4 of 5 from the three-point line. Karl Anthony Towns had 30 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, shot 10 of 19, 3 of 7 from the three-point line. Jeff Teague had 20 points, 12 assists, 4 rebounds, shot 8 of 13, 1 of 2 from the three-point line. And then off the bench, you had Jamal Crawford with 20 points, 2 rebounds, shot 7 of 13, 2 of 7 from the three-point line. And then 7 minutes played, you had Derrick Rose with 4 of 6 shooting, 9 points in that one. All right, only 1 assist. Good win for the Timberwolves, bad loss for the Clippers. All right. Clippers got to step it up. If they want to make the playoffs, they got to start winning games like these. Doesn't matter who you're playing, all right? Doesn't matter if the Timberwolves are the better team. Does not matter whatsoever. If you want to make the playoffs, you got to pull it out. You got to get these wins. There's no other way around it, all right? And I don't think the Clippers are going to be making the playoffs this year, all right? Right now, they're still behind the Nuggets as far as the 9 seed goes. Not that it even matters, but they're still a game and a half back of the 8th seed Utah Jazz, where Utah was like the 5th seed just yesterday, I feel. They move all the way down to the 8th spot. But either way, Clippers, I don't know. They're going to start winning these ball games. As for the Timberwolves, Andrew Wiggins making those, well, not making those, but that report about him not being happy being the third option, I don't know. Maybe that's making him play even better. I think this is the best game he's had from the three-point line all season long. Shot 4 of 5, usually doesn't do that, all right? But I still do think Andrew Wiggins needs to be a guy that gets to the hole a whole lot more. He can't be stopped. If he were to do that and just constantly focus on getting to the hole and taking every now and then, he'd be one of the, I almost said something. I almost said he might be one of the best, but he's got to be more efficient if he wants to be regarded as a higher option. As for Karl Anthony Towns, big game from him. Like I said, 30 points, 10 rebounds. Dude's been on a tear lately. All right, and the Timberwolves have been playing well. Right now, they're the 7th seed. I think they're only like 2 games back of the Thunder for that 4th spot, so it's all going to fluctuate. We're going to talk more about it in the 3rd segment anyways. As for the next game, we had the Dallas Mavericks facing off with the New Orleans Pelicans. The Pelicans won this one, 115-105. For the Mavericks, you had Harrison Barnes with 19 points, 4 rebounds, shot 8 of 19, 1 of 4 from the three-point line. Dwight Powell had 11 points, 6 rebounds, shot 3 assists, shot 5 of 6, 1 of 1 from the three-point line. Dirk, he had 19 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, shot 7 of 13, 4 of 8 from the three-point line. JJ Barea, 10 points, 8 assists, 4 rebounds, shot 5 of 11, 0 of 3 from the three-point line. Actually, I'll make that comment after. Doug McDermott had 11 points, 4 rebounds, shot 5 of 11, 1 of 3 from the three-point line. Yogi Ferrell, he had 15 points, 3 rebounds, shot 6 of 14, 1 of 6 from the three-point line. All right, the comment I was going to make, JJ Barea. That's a player that, and I'm just kind of throwing stuff out there. Like, JJ Barea is a short player, but it's never, and maybe it's just because he's never, I don't know, Isaiah Thomas and JJ Barea, they have the way people talk about him is very different. And maybe people don't like Isaiah Thomas or don't talk great about him about his play just because he asked for a Brinks truck or whatever, but the dudes are the same height. How is JJ Barea, I feel like JJ Barea gets more respect as a short guy in the league than Isaiah Thomas. I'm not sure. Maybe it's just the way Isaiah Thomas talks, whatever. But anyway, it's just something that just crossed my mind. All right, Anthony Davis for the Pelicans. He had 37 points, 8 rebounds, shot 15 of 21 from the field, 2 of 3 from the three-point line. Etuan Moore had 14 points, 6 assists, shot 6 of 13, 2 of 4 from the three-point line. Solomon Hill got the start for Drew Holiday in this one since Holiday was out with an illness. He had 2 points in 11 minutes. Just pretty much same stats from last season, I feel. Emeka Okafor only played 5 minutes in this one. Not sure if he got hurt or not, but if he did, it's going to be a bit of a big loss for the Pelicans. All right, he only played 5 minutes, took no shots, hit no points, 1 rebound. Rajon Rondo had 19 points, 14 assists, 9 rebounds, 8 of 14 shooting, 1 of 4 from the three-point line in 30 minutes. Rajon Rondo's a guy, as his career has progressed, he's developed the jumper. All right, no one's really realized it, but he's been a better shooter. All right. Off the bench, you had Cheick Diallo with 10 points, 14 rebounds, shot 4 of 8 from the field. Nikolai Mirotic had 8 points, 7 rebounds, didn't shoot the ball that well, 3 of 10 from the field, 2 of 5 from the three-point line. And one of the more consistent players for the Pelicans off the bench, Ian Clark, 19 points, 4 assists, shot 9 of 15, 1 of 3 from the three-point line. That's a guy you're not really going to see get mentioned as far as the 6th man of the year awards like Terry Rozier, Lou Williams, and all those guys, Eric Gordon, but Ian Clark has been that good this season. All right, just no one talks about him just because his name is Ian Clark and he doesn't have that big name. But Ian Clark deserves a lot more recognition than what he's gotten so far, coming off of that New Orleans Pelicans bench. All right, but as far as this game goes, like I said, Pelicans won 115-105. Not really much to talk about here. Dallas game they should have lost. New Orleans game they should have won. I think they're currently the 5 seed in the West right now, and probably want to end up as the 4 seed just to have that home court advantage in that first round. it's possible. I think they're, a game and a half back of the Thunder right now, 2 games. I have to double check the standings. But either way, I mean, the Pelicans have been playing good basketball as of late. Then we had the Utah Jazz facing off with the Atlanta Hawks in Utah, and the Hawks won this one 99-94. All right, for the Hawks, you had Mike Muscala with 8 points, 5 rebounds, shot 3 of 9, 2 of 5 from the three-point line. Taurean Prince with 11 points, 2 assists, 3 rebounds, shot 3 of 13, 0 of 6 from the three-point line. Not a great night from him. Dwayne Dedmon had 15 points, 15 rebounds, 4 assists, shot 7 of 13, 1 of 5 from the three-point line. Dennis Schroeder had a monster game here, all right? 16 of 28 from the field, 3 of 7 from the three-point line, 41 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists. Absolutely went off against the Jazz. All right, and then for the Jazz, you had Jonas Jerebko with the goose egg here, 0 points, 0 assists, 0 of 4 from the field goal, 0 of 2 from the three-point line, 5 rebounds. Joe Ingles had 16 points, 7 assists, 8 rebounds, shot 4 of 11, 1 of 8 from the three-point line. Rudy Gobert had 15 points, 15 points, 16 rebounds, shot 7 of 10. Ricky Rubio had 23 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, shot 7 of 14 from the field, 3 of 7 from the three-point line. You got Donovan Mitchell with a poor shooting night, 9 of 28 from the field, 1 of 10 from the three-point line, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, had 24 points. And off the bench, you had Jay Crowder with 8 points. As you could tell, the theme with the Jazz was the starting 5 really didn't shoot the ball well. All right, we had Jonas Jerebko 0 for 4, Joe Ingles 4 of 11, and then Donovan Mitchell missed 19 shots. All right, team couldn't get it going. This is a bad loss for Utah right here. Just like the way the Thunder lost to the Celtics. I mean, Utah's got to pull out the win here. All right, you can't be losing to a team like the Hawks, especially in a big playoff race, which we're going to be talking about in the next segment. So, I mean, I guess really should save it for the next segment. But Utah's got to pull out games like this, all right? And Utah, I understand that this is their first season without Gordon Hayward, but I don't really think this is an excuse you could use anymore. Utah is a good team. So, I mean, we got to start talking about them as if they're a good team. You got Donovan Mitchell, Ricky Rubio, who's had a nice season, and Rudy Gobert starting to put it all together again. So, I mean, they got to win these games. There's no excuse for it. All right, but as for the next game, we have the Detroit Pistons facing off with the Phoenix Suns, and Detroit pretty much wiped the floor with Phoenix, 115-88. For Detroit, you had Blake Griffin with 26 points, 10 assists, 9 rebounds, shot 9 of 15, 3 of 7 from the three-point line. Reggie Bullock had 12 points, 4 of 9 shooting, 2 of 3 from the three-point line. Stanley Johnson, 5 points, 6 rebounds, shot 2 of 12, 0 of 4 from the three-point line. Andre Drummond had 10 points, 10 rebounds, shot 4 of 9. Reggie Jackson, in his first game back, had 7 points, 2 assists, shot 3 of 7, 1 of 2 from the three-point line. I'm sure the Pistons front office thought at one point that by the time Reggie Jackson got back, the Pistons would be in a playoff race, but that just hasn't been the case at all, and it probably won't be the case for the rest of the season. All right, Anthony Tolliver had 9.7 rebounds, shot 3 of 7, 2 of 5 from the three-point line. You had Luke Kennard with 16 points, 6 rebounds, had 3 assists, shot 6 of 11, 3 of 6 from the three-point line. And Ish Smith coming off the bench again had 13 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, shot 5 of 13, 1 of 3 from the three-point line. For the Phoenix Suns, you had Dragan Bender with 9 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, shot 4 of 13, 1 of 8 from the three-point line. That dude's a bust. I'm calling it now. He's a bust. Alex Len had 19 points, 12 rebounds, shot 9 of 11. Alfred Payton had 4 points, 5 assists, 3 rebounds, shot 2 of 6 from the field, 0 of 1 from the three-point line. Troy Daniels had 18 points, 3 rebounds, shot 6 of 9 from the field, 4 of 5 from the three-point line. And you had Josh Jackson, the rookie, with 15 points, 11 rebounds, shot 6 of 19, 0 of 3 from the three-point line. All right. As for this game, I mean, Detroit, like I said, will probably at one point thought that by the time Reggie Jackson got back, they'd be in the playoff race. Hasn't been the case at all. Won't be the case at all. And as for Phoenix, got a tank for DeAndre Ayton. They get DeAndre Ayton. That's going to be a fun team to watch. Maybe that's a team maybe if they get DeAndre Ayton, they'll be a team that pretty much takes the next step, becomes a team that can compete, kind of like how the Lakers have done this season. But either way, that's going to wrap it up for this segment. All right, that's how all the games went. Next segment, we're going to be talking about the playoff race going on in the West. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Check out the show that's built on the MMA, from the UFC to extreme cage fighting. They got the fights covered. Check out the GSMC MMA podcast. Get the latest news on past or upcoming fights. Join us as we talk to and about some of the biggest names in the MMA, past, present, and future. When it's the fight game, there's just one show to check out. GSMCpodcast.com/MMA-podcast. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
All right, and welcome back to the GSMC Basketball Podcast. First two segments, we basically spent it recapping the games from yesterday. Spent the first segment talking about the Thunder Celtics game and the Trailblazers Rockets game. And the second segment, we spent it talking about all the other games that went on Tuesday. All right, not that they're not as important as the first two games we talked about in the first segment, but, either way, this segment, we're going to be talking about the Western Conference playoff race, not the top two seeds or anything like that, because that didn't matter anymore. We're going to talk about mainly 4 through 8. All right, we got the Oklahoma City Thunder at 43-30. Pelicans are 41-30. Spurs are 41-30. Timberwolves are 41-31. Jazz are 40-31. All right, that's 4 through 8 right there. Jazz are currently 8th spot. Thunder, like I said, are the 4th spot. Jazz are 2 games back of that 4th spot, and then on the outside looking in, you got the Denver Nuggets and LA Clippers. The Nuggets are currently 2 games out of the 8th spot from behind the Jazz. Clippers are currently 2.5 games back of the Jazz for that 8th spot. All right, then you got the Lakers, who are about 7.5 games back of the Jazz, unless the Jazz, Nuggets, Clippers all lose pretty much the remaining games and the Lakers win all of the remaining games. The Lakers got no shot. So, might as well just cross out the Lakers as far as playoff contention goes, because they're not even contending at all. All right, but look at that right there, all right? From the Clippers, who are not even in the playoffs, to the Thunder, it's only 4.5 games that separate them. All right, that's just crazy to see. The West has been unbelievably close this year, and I'm not sure if it's because the West has gotten better or it's just a matter of teams like the Spurs and Timberwolves have gotten a little bit worse, all right? Because, it's always been the Rockets and Warriors at 1 and 2, then the Spurs usually at 3, and then and then the Thunder usually around there. All right, Thunder are in the same spot. Like I said, the Spurs are a team that really haven't played that well this season. They're 41-30, but this isn't like the Spurs team that we've all come to know. All right, they've had 16 straight years at winning 50 games. That's probably not going to happen this season. So, right now, just like this whole little playoff race we got going on is just ridiculous. All right, with the Thunder, like all these teams right here, as far as it all goes, the Thunder, like I said, I talked about them in the first segment. They had a bad loss against the Celtics. I don't think they're playing tonight. All right, let's see who the Thunder, their schedule's looking like for the rest of this. All right, they got the Heat coming up on the 23rd, the Trailblazers on the 25th, the Spurs on the 29th, the Nuggets on the 30th. They got a tough schedule, all right? So they got the Heat, Trailblazers, Spurs, Nuggets, Pelicans, Warriors, Rockets, Heat again, and then the Grizzlies on April 11th. That is a tough schedule right there, all right? The Thunder are going to have, I don't know what they're going to do there. That's a lot of games that's a possibility of losing right there, all right? Because let me put it this way. They're not beating the Warriors. They're not beating the Rockets, okay? I don't even like their chance against the Trailblazers right there in a couple of days. Against the Spurs, that's going to be tough. That's one they could pull out, though. Then you got the Nuggets. That's going to be another tough one. The Pelicans, that's going to be tough, all right? The Thunder probably have the hardest schedule. I haven't even seen the other team's schedules, but they probably have the hardest schedule for the rest of the way. All right, let's look at the Pelicans. Right now, they got the Lakers coming up on the 22nd, then the Rockets, the Trailblazers, then the Cavs, the Thunder, Grizzlies, Suns, Warriors, Clippers, Spurs. All right, that's a tough schedule right there, too, but I just think that the Thunder have a harder rest of the way to go. All right, for the Spurs, you got, they got the Jazz, Bucks, Wizards, Thunder, Rockets, Clippers, Lakers, Trailblazers, Kings, Pelicans. All right. All these teams have pretty tough remaining schedules, but I still think that the Thunder have the hardest one going forward. The Minnesota Timberwolves, they got the Knicks, the Sixers, the Grizzlies, the Hawks, the Mavericks, the Jazz, Nuggets, Lakers, Grizzlies again, and then the Nuggets again. All right. That's probably the easiest schedule out of all the remaining teams, I'm sure of. All right. Let's see, who's next up? We got the Utah Jazz. Let's see, who do they got coming up for the rest of the season? They got the Mavericks, Spurs, Warriors, Celtics, Grizzlies, Timberwolves, Lakers, Clippers, Lakers again, Warriors, Trailblazers. All right, they got to play the Warriors twice. You got to play the Celtics, who are a tough team. The Spurs were a tough team. Lakers are a competitive team. Clippers, it's going to be that Clippers game is going to be a big one right there, all right? Because I'm sure the teams will still be pretty near each other for that 8th spot. Clippers win that one. That might be a good one for them, obviously. And then you get the Trailblazers to end the season. That's also could be a potentially big game there. All right, and then for the teams on the outside looking in, the Denver Nuggets, what do they got going on for the rest of the season? They got the Bulls going on tonight, then the Wizards, the Sixers, the Raptors, the Thunder, the Bucks, Pacers, Timberwolves, Clippers, Trailblazers, Timberwolves. That might be no, that's not as tough as the Thunder schedule, so that's probably the second toughest right there. And then for the Clippers, all right, the last team to have a chance to make it in. You got the Bucks tonight, Pacers, Raptors, Bucks again, Suns, Trailblazers, Pacers, Spurs, Jazz, Nuggets, Pelicans. All right, so I say that the Thunder, Jazz, and Thunder, I think Nuggets and Clippers probably have the toughest schedules remaining. All right, and the Thunder, I mean, they're only 2 games up on the Jazz for that 8th spot. All right, and like I said, only 4 games up on the Nuggets. Okay, the Thunder very well, if they don't play this rest of the schedule right, could see themselves out of the playoffs. All right, because they have a couple tough games against the Rockets and Warriors, and you got all these other teams that are fighting for playoff spots. All right, the Thunder really have to step up. You can't be having mishaps like they did against Boston. All right, because that's one game they win. They're 3 games up on the Thunder, or 3 games up on the Jazz for that 5th spot or 4th spot right there. All right, they really have to step it up. And one thing too with the team is the San Antonio Spurs. Manu Ginobili said that they're not expecting Kawhi Leonard back. All right, and this whole Kawhi Leonard situation has been really, really weird. All right, just with it all, I mean, Kawhi Leonard, I mean, they said that he was supposed to be back mid-March. Now he's not coming back. And even before that, he wasn't even sure if he was going to be coming back at all. And now it's just pretty much, I don't think we should hold our breath for Kawhi Leonard. All right, I'm going to go ahead and say it. I don't think he'll be back unless somehow he returns in the playoffs, which is going to be tough for a team like that because of the fact that you've pretty much played your entire season without him. You bring him in, that's going to change some things up, and it's going to have to change some rotations, game plan, all that. So I say if he doesn't come back before the regular season ends, then he's not coming back at all. All right, because it just makes no sense to bring a guy like that. I mean, it does because that's your best player, but it's just going to be real tough for that team to bring him in. But they have been playing with him for a while, so I guess it all cancels each other out. But either way, getting back into it, I mean, the Spurs are a team, I don't know, it kind of seems like this is like, I just got that feeling. Like, this is one of those things where it's like the beginning of the end for Kawhi Leonard and the Spurs. Just the way how it's all gone down and all that. All right, I mean, there was tension, I guess, at one point between like the trainers and him, just pretty much based off of how he wanted to rehab his injury versus how they wanted to rehab his injury and all that. Probably wanted him back sooner, but he was trying to take his time more. I don't know. This whole thing with Kawhi Leonard and the Spurs, like I said, has just been extremely weird. One of the weirder situations all season long. Still, though, nothing touches that Markelle Fultz situation with the Sixers. Still, I had no idea what's going on there. But either way, like I said, I mean, the Spurs, I think they're going to be making the playoffs. Currently on a 4-game winning streak, I believe. They get Kawhi Leonard back before the season ends. Good. If they get him back after, I mean, it'll probably work out somehow, some way. But either way, Spurs are a team that's kind of weird to me. And then you got the Timberwolves, who are in the 7th spot right now. They really got to make the playoffs. They don't make the playoffs, I mean, that's going to be tough. All right, this was a team that was supposed to make playoffs. Supposed to be a team that was competing with the Warriors and Rockets. All right, when they brought in Jimmy Butler, they figured that's what they would be doing. But even then, I mean, now they're the 7th seed without Jimmy Butler. But with Jimmy Butler, they still weren't even on that level. They couldn't beat the top teams in the league, whether it's from the East or the West. They just struggled. All right, now, I mean, if the season ended today, they'd be playing the Warriors. Are you going to tell me that the Timberwolves are going to be able to get more than a game there? I don't think so. All right, so the Timberwolves really got to figure it out. And one team I don't want to see miss out on the playoffs, but I think probably will, is the Nuggets. I would really like to see the Nuggets make the playoffs this year. I like Jamal Murray. I like Gary Harris. I like Jokic. And I think Paul Millsap, he just needs to figure out his role with that team. But either way, I mean, I really like that Nuggets team. That's going to be a real solid team in the next few years. Kind of like how people are expecting the Bucks to pretty much break out in the East in the next few years. That's pretty much what the Nuggets are going to be, I think. All right, you need Jamal Murray and Gary Harris to pretty much develop a little bit more, just become star. You need to become stars, all right? And with Jokic, I mean, he is the best player in that team, so pretty much with Jokic, it's just a matter of waiting for him to have that 1 year, have that one breakout great year. Because when he does that, the Nuggets are going to get so much better, all right? But I think one thing, too, they might need to look for another coach, because with Mike Malone, the way he's managed Jokic this season has been kind of odd. I mean, there's been times where he's pulled him out in the fourth quarter, didn't let him play. And I just think with Mike Malone, you probably got to bring in a new coach. That's what they need. I think a new coach is what will jumpstart this team. Pretty much get that little futuristic team of the future thing going. All right. But anyway, you got that going on. And like I said with the Clippers earlier, I mean, they lost to the Timberwolves. Not a great loss there. No loss is great, I guess you could say. But with the Clippers, I don't think they're going to be making the playoffs this year. And I think that's probably for the best. They do have a lot of good young players coming up. Guys that are going to be starting in their prime, like Tobias Harris. You got Avery Bradley was out with a sports hernia injury. And you got Lou Williams, who you locked up long term. You got DeAndre Jordan, but I think he'll probably end up leaving sometime soon. They probably need the draft in order to get better. All right, because, I mean, they make the playoffs, they're getting swept by whoever they play, and it's not even a contest. So it's probably best for them that they don't make the playoffs. As far as the Jazz go, I mean, they could probably get a game against the Rockets, possibly. Maybe, game. I'm not going to get too crazy and say 2 games. And as for the Pelicans, I mean, Pelicans and Trailblazers are probably the third and fourth best teams in the West. All right, the Thunder, I really don't like them going forward. All right, that loss against the Celtics kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And, I mean, I really haven't been high on the Thunder at all this season, so there's no point in getting on that bandwagon now. But as far as the Pelicans and Trailblazers go, I'd really like to see maybe honestly, it's going to sound weird, but I'd like to see the Thunder jump the Trailblazers. I'd like to see the Trailblazers and Pelicans face off in the first round. That'd be a nice little matchup there, I feel. Pretty much, those teams are pretty much, I don't want to say like the same, but like the way, I don't know, there's just something about the Trailblazers and Pelicans, I feel like that kind of link them together. I'm not sure if it's play style or whatever, but both teams are playing really well. And I mean, as far as this whole playoff race goes, yeah, I think it's just going to come down to the Nuggets and Jazz for that 8th spot. But I mean, in reality, what are these teams playing for? Like, do these teams actually think they have a chance against the Rockets and Warriors? I for sure don't think they do. So I don't know. Teams are pretty much playing for the second round here. But either way, like I said, I mean, a lot could change here. You got the Thunder, who are only 2 games up on the Jazz for that 4th spot, and the Jazz are in the 8th spot. You got the Nuggets, who are 2 games back of the Jazz there for that 8th spot. So going to be real interesting to see. Well, we got about 11 or so games left around there. So going to be interesting to see who ends up making it, who ends up falling out. And I mean, I don't know. It's going to be really fun to watch. But either way, that's going to wrap it up for this segment. Next up, we're going to be talking about anything else going on in the world of basketball. Going to be talking about or making my picks for tonight's games. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Check out the show built around the women of MMA. From the UFC to the extreme cage fighting, we got the fights covered.
Listen.
It's the Golden State Media Concepts Women's MMA Podcast. The latest news of upcoming fights, discussions of previous matches. Join us as we talk to and about the biggest names in women's mixed martial arts. Past, present, and future. When it's the women's fight game, you know where to listen to. The Golden State Media Concepts Women's MMA Podcast.
All right, and welcome back to the GSMC Basketball Podcast. So far today, what have we talked about? We talked about the games going on from yesterday, which was Tuesdays. We spent most of the first segment talking about the Thunder, Celtics, and Rockets Trailblazers game. Second segment is where we talked about all the other games. Third segment, we talked about the playoff race in the East, or in the West, I should say. And then for this segment, as we always do, we're going to talk about whatever crosses my mind as far as basketball goes, all right? So let's get into it. All right, I was thinking, like, before this segment started, it's, like, kind of weird. The NBA season is starting, like, the regular season is starting to wind down. We got about 10 or so of the games left. And it feels like the season's, like, it's just about to start. It feels like with the playoffs coming, it feels like now the real thing starts. And that's kind of weird how the NBA has pretty much gotten to that point where, I mean, now it feels like now the real competition starts, all right? The regular season doesn't really matter, but now the NBA season is starting. I don't know, it's just kind of weird now that I was thinking about it, because it's like for fan stuff, it's not like, oh, the season's ending soon or anything like that. It's like, oh, now we're finally going to get started to the good stuff. We're going to see the Warriors possibly facing off with the Rockets in the Western Conference Finals, see what the Cavs can do. I feel like this story, like the NBA, like now more so is built off of the playoffs rather than it is with the regular season. And I guess, and that's like, it's completely different from other leagues too. Like the NFL, once the regular season ends, it's like, oh, the season's about to end soon with the playoffs. Like, no, with the NBA, it's like, this is when they hit their peak, is the playoffs. All right, I don't know. It's just something I was thinking about, something that was intriguing to me. But yeah, the NBA is the only really league that could do that. All right, like the regular season, we don't really we'll watch the games and we'll get into them, but it's like they don't really matter. What matters is the teams playing each other in the playoffs. Right, like what the Celtics are going to do versus the Cavs, or if the Cavs are going to be playing the Raptors. Like who knows? But either way, speaking of the Celtics, like I said, I really don't think Kyrie Irving's even going to be back for this season. I mean, unless they shut him down for the rest of the regular season, bring him back for playoffs. And that's tough for Boston, man. Boston really has not caught a break yet. I mean, last year in the playoffs with Isaiah Thomas, his hip being hurt. This year, you got Gordon Hayward breaking his ankle in the first game of the season. Then you got Kyrie Irving, who's been dealing with knee soreness all year. It looks like it's gotten even worse. So, I mean, you got to deal with that. So, I mean, with the Celtics, it's just a matter of you got to wait another year. For Celtics fans, you got to be patient. Right? I know they've been patient since, 2012. All right? It's like they're on the verge. They're on the verge of something, but, it's just, they're close, but it's, not yet. You got to wait. But either way, there's that. As far as the Cavs go, I mean, The East is wide open. The Cavs very well, if they get hot at the right time, very well could see themselves making it to the finals. All right. I'm real curious to see. I really want to see the Cavs versus Raptors Eastern Conference Finals series. All right. I think that'd be probably the best one. I mean, the Celtics, that'd probably only be a good series. Like, Celtics making it to the Eastern Conference Finals would only be good if, like, Kyrie Irving was healthy and his knee was good and he was playing well. You got Jaylen Brown back if they get Marcus Smart back, too. I mean, without Marcus Smart, Kyrie Irving, then the Celtics team doesn't really have much. I mean, right now, I mean, they've been playing well with the guys they have out there. But that's pretty much, I don't think you could sustain that for the rest of the season going forward into the playoffs. So that's going to be tough there. But either way, like the Cavs, I mean, they got a good chance. They got a good chance of making it to the Eastern Conference Finals. And, I mean, they got to get past Philly. Philly's that little sleeper team I have, that little team that can knock you off if you're not paying attention. I think that might be Philly this year. And the Cavs very well might get Philly in that first round. It's going to be interesting to see when the John Wall comes back for the playoffs, how they're going to play against the Pacers if they match up in the first round. That's probably going to be the best first-round matchup out of any of the first-round matchups we got, East or West, all right? Because we're going to be seeing, like, the Pacers versus the Wizards, hopefully, and then I guess the one that could rival that series is maybe like a Pelicans versus Trailblazers series, something like that. One where it's very unpredictable and you really don't know who's going to win because there's no clear-cut better team in that series. All right, the Pacers, I guess you could say right now, are better than the Wizards, but with the Wizards, with John Wall, that's like a whole different team. So we'll see about that. So that's one thing that's crossed my mind. Let's see, what else is going on in the basketball world right now. All right, it's been 3 days without the March Madness tournament. That's been tough. All right, I mean, it's real tough to go from nonstop all-day basketball for 2 days, like 4 days, I guess you could say, actually. Yeah, from Thursday to Sunday, and then we get no college basketball Monday through Wednesday, and it finally comes back on Thursday. I mean, that's just, I don't know. I don't like it. All right, maybe they should just spread out the games more so we got the tournament every day, but I know that's tough. You got to think of the players and all that, but either way, I don't know, like I said, it's just tough. But I want to note that I did check my bracket, my original bracket, the first one I did. Three of the teams that I have making the Final Four are still alive, all right? Arizona was one team that I had winning it. They didn't make it. Obviously, they got bounced in the first round. Thanks a lot for that, Arizona. And then I got the rest of my three teams. I got Duke, I got Michigan, and I got West Virginia. West Virginia gets past Villanova, they're getting in. All right, I'm calling it out. West Virginia gets past Villanova, they're making the Final Four. Michigan, all they got to do is beat Texas A&M and Kentucky. The tough game is going to be against Kentucky. All right, and as far as Duke goes, I think they're going to be making it past. If they get past Syracuse, then they're in the Final Four too. So if I get 3 out of the 4 Final Four teams right, I think I should get an award. All right, because this tournament has been very difficult to pick. But yeah, tomorrow we got Loyola Chicago playing Nevada. I think Loyola is going to win that game. And you got Texas A&M versus Michigan. Michigan should win that one. They've been a very underrated team. Kansas State versus Kentucky. Kentucky should win that one. Gonzaga versus Florida State. I'm sure Gonzaga is going to win that one. And then let's see, for Friday, we got all the other games going on. We got Kansas playing Clemson, West Virginia versus Villanova, Syracuse versus Duke. That's going to be a fun one right there. Duke's favored by 11 points. I think if I was a betting man, I'd put my money on Syracuse and the points. Then we got Texas Tech versus Purdue. That's going to be the under-the-radar game there. No one's really going to be watching it too much, but that has probably the potential of being the best game. So yeah, those are how the March Madness games are looking like this week. All right, it's going to be a fun one. I think on Monday I made my picks for the rest of the tournament. And let's see what else we got going on in the NBA right now. Anything else to talk about? LeBron James said that the playoff play-in idea is quote-unquote whack. I am agreeing with LeBron. It is whack. All right, the NBA can't become too gimmicky. All right, leave it the way it is. There's no reason to change it. Don't overthink it. I hate how leagues do this. All right, don't change anything. I get that you want to say, oh, the top 16 should make it. No, just leave it. 8 teams from the East, 8 teams from the West. That's how it's always been. All right, there's gonna be a point where the East is miles better than the West. All right, just leave it the way it is. Do not change it. All right. And let's see, anything else going on right there? I think that's pretty much it for news. It's been a pretty slow news week, right? Nothing's really going on. Once playoffs come, we're going to be going. The show's going to be getting even better. But I think we've done pretty well so far this week. All right, let's see. I think that's pretty much it. So let's make my picks for tonight's NBA games. All right, let's see what we got going on here. We got the Raptors facing off with the Cavaliers in Cleveland. No DeMar DeRozan in this one, I believe. So it's going to be tough for Toronto, but Cleveland is favored in this one by 2, so that means I'm going to go with the Raptors. All right, I think they're going to be able to pull it out. They're 24-12. Cleveland's 24-12 on the road. Cleveland's 23-11 at home. I think the Raptors are going to be able to pull it out. They even though they're not going to have DeMar DeRozan, they still have probably one of the most complete teams in the league. All right, they get production from their bench week in, week out, game in, game out. So I think the bench is going to step up here, and Kyle Lowry is going to play well. So I'm going to go with the Raptors. All right, it's a tough pick there. Logically, I'd go with the Cavaliers, but I just think in my gut, I got to go with the Raptors. Then we got the Grizzlies facing off with the Philadelphia 76ers. All right, I'm going to go with Philly in this one. Obviously, I mean, the Grizzlies are just a bad team. Pretty much tanking, hoping they can get DeAndre Ayton. Whatever team gets DeAndre Ayton is going to be very happy. That's by far the best player in the draft. I really hope he ends up with the Suns, or somehow the Kings trade up and end up getting him. So we'll see. But either way, I got the Sixers beating the Grizzlies. Sixers got to win games like these, all right? Kind of like how I said with the Thunder, you got to be beating the teams that are worse than you. All right, and the Celtics as a whole with Kyrie Irving, I wouldn't say are worse than the Thunder, but when you get Abdel Nader playing big minutes, there's a problem there. All right, so we got the Sixers facing off with the Grizzlies. Like I said, I got the Sixers, and they should win this one pretty easily. Then we got the Hornets facing off with the Nets in Brooklyn. Hornets are favored by 1.5 in this one. I got to go with the Hornets. Kemba Walker's been playing well this season. Dwight Howard's been having a nice little season there. The Nets, as far as scoring, they're a bit inconsistent, so I don't really trust them there. So I'm going with the Hornets to win this one. Then we got the Knicks facing off with the Miami Heat. Heat easily in this one. Think they're going to play well. Goran Dragic's been having a great season so far, and his Cantor for the Knicks been playing well. So is Michael Beasley. Cantor's averaging 14 points, almost 11 rebounds a game. Probably one of the best seasons he's had, unless he was really good with the Jazz. And you forget that the guy even played with the Jazz. Remember, he pretty much, once he left the Jazz, he was pretty much hated by that team just because of the fact that he was, I don't know, I can't even remember that story. But might have to double check that. But either way, I got the Heat winning this one. All right, they need to win these games to pretty much finish as a 7-6 seed. Don't want to finish as the 8 seed. Don't want to play Toronto. So we'll see about that. But I got the Heat winning this game. Then we got the Nuggets facing off with the Bulls. The Bulls have had a lot of good players out. All right, they're tanking. That's why. Nuggets are a bad road team, though, 11-23 on the road. Bulls are 15-20 at home. Either way, I'm going with the Nuggets in this one. They have to win games like these if they want to get into the playoff race. If they hurt this, or if they lose this, it's going to hurt their chances big time. So I got the Nuggets winning this one. Then we got the Clippers facing off with the Bucks. Clippers had a bad loss yesterday to Timberwolves. Again, Timberwolves are probably the better team, but either way, if you're the Clippers and you want to make the playoffs, you got to start winning these games, and they're going to lose tonight. I got the Bucks winning this one. All right. Clippers I just don't like as a team right now. Bucks are 22-14 at home. Clippers are 17-18 on the road. But I just think Giannis and Middleton and all those guys are going to be too much for this Clippers team. Then we got probably the game of the night going on. Or besides, game of the night since no DeRozan in Toronto against Cleveland. We got the Pacers facing off with the Pelicans. All right, Pelicans are favored by a point in this one. It's going to be a tough game. Both teams playing well. Both teams are very similar in the ways they've been playing. Both teams have the same record. Pacers are 17-17 on the road. Pelicans are 20-15 at home. I'm going to go with the Pelicans. I think they've been playing the slightly better basketball, but it's tough because I don't know. These teams are about the same, like I said, so it's pretty much this is a pick 'em game right here. All right, but I'm going to go with the Pelicans. Think they're going to be able to pull it out since they're at home. Then we got the Wizards facing off with the Spurs, and I'm going to go with the Wizards in this one. All right, the Spurs are on a 4-game winning streak. Think that's going to end tonight. This is one of those gut picks right here. Think the Wizards are going to play well, and they're going to pull out the win. So let's recap the picks. I got the Raptors beating the Cavs, Sixers beating the Grizzlies, Hornets beating the Nets, Heat beating the Knicks, Nuggets beating the Bulls, Bucks beating the Clippers, Pelicans beating the Pacers, and the Wizards beating the Spurs. Only 2 upset picks tonight, and that is the Wizards over the Spurs and the Raptors over the Cavs. So that's going to wrap it up for today's show. Today we talked about the 2 big games from last night, Rockets and Trailblazers, and then you got the Thunder versus the Celtics. Let's see. I talked about the playoff race going on in the West. All right, got a couple of, it's pretty close. I mean, the Thunder, like I said, they got a tough schedule going on, so they're going to have to pick up some big wins. And then for this segment, talked about pretty much anything else going on in the world of basketball and made my picks. So thanks for listening to the GSMC Basketball Podcast. I am your host, Jesse Tapia. We'll be back on Friday to talk about the NCAA games from Thursday and preview the ones from Friday. So stay tuned, and we'll talk to you later.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.